guys doing? My name is Asia Alexander, and this is a discussion of chapters 4 through 6 for Elements of Speech Online 1, Dr. Robinson's class. I'm going to start with chapter 4. Chapter 4 was titled Connecting Through Verbal Communication. Chapter 4 covered just a whole bunch of different things. First, they talked about language. Language is the way we create and share meanings with others. Language can affect our relationships, our emotions. It has power to influence our perceptions of others and theirs of us. Very true. It's very true. So, it talks about how the elements of language, which are sound, words, grammar, and meaning, how they can affect communication. Grammar is a set of rules we use to join words into phrases and sentences. Meaning allows us to use words and patterns to exchange messages between people. Language can be misunderstood when, we talk about how language can create barriers to effective communication. Language can be misunderstood because meanings depend on commonalities and because people believe that words have meanings in themselves. So, Chapter 4 also discusses how accurate, vivid, immediate, appropriate, and metaphorical language can help you be a more effective communicator. Accurate language allows you to be precise and to eliminate misinterpretations. Vivid language allows you to be animated and interesting. Immediate language identifies the speaker's feelings and allows the message to be more relevant to the listener. Metaphorical language can help you create shared meanings when you compare the known and the unknown. Technology has created... No, not technology. Alright, so that's pretty much about chapter 4. Now we have chapter 5, Connecting Through Non-Verbal Communication. Connecting through non-verbal communication. So, in chapter 5, they discuss what nonverbal communication is, which it includes all behaviors, symbols, attributes, or objects, whether intended or not, that communicate messages with social meaning. It is not only what we say, but how we say it, with our tone of voice, body movements, appearance, and use of space, touch, and time. There are 6 key characteristics of nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication occurs constantly. Nonverbal communication depends on context. Nonverbal communication is more believable than verbal communication because it's like actions. I like nonverbal communication too. But nonverbal communication is a primary means of expression. Nonverbal communication is related to culture. Nonverbal communication is ambiguous. There are 5 common functions of nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication adds life to our interaction. The five common functions would be decisives. I don't really know what that says. Decisives? I don't know what that means. Substitutes for verbal behavior, regulates verbal behavior, repeats verbal behavior, complements what is being said. And there's so many there's tons and tons of different types of nonverbal communication. A few are touch, space, time, eye behavior, facial expression, body movements, physical characteristics, silence, artifacts, environment. Like, all of that can give you away as far as your nonverbal communication. Like, that's your way of expressing it, even if you're not talking. So that pretty much wraps up chapter 5. Chapter 6. Chapter 6 was titled Connecting, Listening, and Thinking in the Communication Process. Chapter 6 Chapter 6 basically was just talking about how we can use cognitive, affective, and behavioral strategies to help us be better listeners. We need to learn ways to overcome both internal and external interface to listening. The listener must stay involved in the message, not be distracted by the speaker or the speaker's attire or behaviors. Chapter 6 also covered just different type of listeners, like competent listeners need to ask themselves, am I really paying attention? I believe I'm a competent listener. It says identify in instances in which you must be a critical listener. You have to be a critical listener. We need to be a good consumer of information. We need to differentiate between fact and opinion. Those are 2 times where you have to be a critical listener. All of us can become better listeners. We must recognize the importance of listening effectively. Think of listening as an active behavior, and be willing to work and want to improve. So, yeah, chapter 6 just covered listening and thinking and the communication process, and that adjourns my video. Thank you guys for watching.